Malabo, the capital of Equatorial Guinea, after a 3-day official visit. President Tinubu's visit was on the invitation of his counterpart, President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea, arrived Malabo on Wednesday. Right from his arrival, the president kicked off with a number of diplomatic and economic activities between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea, including the signing of the Gulf of Guinea pipeline agreement. Besides the pipeline agreement, the visit of the president sought to the resuscitation of the Nigeria-Equatorial Guinea Joint National Commission, under which many other bilateral activities have been set in motion to be activated in November. President Tinubu was escorted by the Equatorial Guinea Prime Minister Manuela Rocabote, departed the Malabo International Airport at 4:03 p.m. The National Judicial Council (NJC) has constituted 4 probe panels to investigate 27 High Court judges in the country over various alleged judicial misconduct brought against them. This is as the Council issued letter of advice to Justice O.M. Olagunju of Oyo State High Court to be circumspect as a judicial officer before acting, even in the most challenging situation. Justice Olagunju was said to have used uncouth language in a letter addressed to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, challenging Council's decision and its policy direction on appointment of President Court of the Customary Court of Appeal, Oyo State. At its 106th meeting presided over by the outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwola, NJC considered the report of its Preliminary Complaint Assessment Committee on 22 petitions written against 27 judicial officers of the Federal and State High Courts. Based on the report of the Preliminary Committee, the Council paneled 4 committees to investigate allegations in the petition that were found meritorious. A statement by the NJC Director of Information, Mrs. Ujioye, on Friday in Abuja, however, said that the remaining 18 petitions were discountenanced for lacking in merit, abandoned or being subjudiced. The discounted petitions are against Honorable Justice Monica Bedang-Bamenson, President Court of Appeal, and 9 others, all of the Appeal Court. Others are Honorable Justice John Soho, Chief Judge, Federal High Court, and 4 others, all of the Federal High Court, among others. Besides, NJC placed 5 judges on its pre-sanctioned watch list register for poor performance and will be recommended to the Council for appropriate sanction if they do not improve on their performance. Justice Ariwola, in the meeting, being the last one before his retirement, appreciated the cooperation he received from members of the Council and the Council Secretariat and implored them to extend same to his successor. Members of the Council in return eulogized the outgoing CJN and chairman one after the other and wished him good health in retirement. Following the notice of an impending protest by the aviation workers by the aviation unions in the country, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has appealed to the workers for calm, promising that the federal government will find a lasting solution that balances both the fiscal needs of the government and the operational requirements of the aviation agencies. Barely 24 hours ago, the union decried the continuous deduction of 50% of revenue of the federal government agencies managing and regulating the aviation industry. The agencies are the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. To also immediately quell the tension and avoid the wrath of industrial action, the minister assured the angry unions that President Bola Tinubu was concerned about the issues in the aviation sector, promising that their grievances will be given due consideration. Chinese firm Zhongshan Fusheng Industrial Investment Corporation Limited has released one of the 3 Nigerian Airbus A330 aircraft that were detained in France following a court order from a Paris judicial court. It was reported that the firm has seized a Dassault Falcon 7X, a Boeing 737-7N6 BBJ, and an Airbus A330-243 belonging to the Nigerian federal government, which were stationed at Paris-Le Bourget and Basel-Molas Airport. In a statement on Friday, the company announced that it will release one of the sized jets as a goodwill gesture ahead of President Bola Tinubu's upcoming meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. The firm indicated that President Tinubu will be permitted to use the Airbus A330, which is currently detained in France due to the French court order obtained by Zhongshan for its trip to France. The Chief Executive Officer of Galaxy Television, Chief Steve Uju, has been honored with the icon of the Broadcast Industry Award and recognition at the first annual conference of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. The award is a recognition of Chief Uju's contribution in the broadcast industry and Nigeria at large. We have details in this report.
The award, which was received by Galaxy's head of Abuja Bureau, Nabuchi Nabuchi, on behalf of the Chief Executive, was in recognition of the Galaxy TV as the first registered and first to transmit private station in the country. Speaking at the event, which was held in Abuja on Thursday night, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibril pledged continued support of the National Assembly to the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. He acknowledged the effort of all media professionals for bridging the gap between government and Nigeria through the ethical conduct. Chairman of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria and the Director General of NTA, Saliu Dembos, disclosed that the awardees were carefully selected due to their individual contributions, which he said had caused prompt growth of broadcasting in Nigeria. He, however, called on the new generation to emulate the icons and eschew fake news and social media hate reporting, which has dominated the internet. The event featured presentations of awards to Nigerians in 8 categories.
I want to congratulate them for being good ambassadors of the broadcasting industry and urge them to keep tab with the happenings in the industry. Of course, quite a lot of challenges have been experienced today, especially with the advent of the internet and opportunities that are somehow given to some individuals that have little or no business with broadcasting into the business of broadcasting today.
We assure you that this society will continue to honor our broadcasters. We shall continue to remain disciplined, and we shall continue to insist that quality remains in broadcasting irrespective of the digital revolution that all of us are experiencing. There is a difference between quality content and non-quality content, and we shall insist on quality. Good journalism, good broadcasting matters in the promotion of democracy.
Let me take this opportunity to appreciate the media generally for the vital roles you are playing in providing information and feedback to the legislative and executive arms of government through your reportage of the activities that affect the daily lives of the people. Undoubtedly, as members of the fourth realm of estate, you are critical stakeholders in the governance enterprise, and I therefore call on you to exhibit a higher sense of patriotism and nationalism in your professional conduct at all times.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Resident doctors of Federal Medical Center Makade staged peaceful protests to demand the release of Dr. Kaniyat, abducted by kidnappers in the last 7 months. Details of that tomorrow coming after the break. Stay with us. glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. Determined to meet the 6,000 megawatt target of electricity supply this year, the federal government is engaging power generation and distribution companies to sustain the current momentum of improvement in supply. At a meeting with DISCOs and other associated agencies held in Abuja, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabu, charged the industry players to restore and sustain customers' confidence in the sector. The meeting brought together industry players across generation and distribution arms of the power sector to review their challenges while highlighting the noticeable growth in the sector. He emphasized the need for the players to prioritize the need of the masses regarding constant power supply for productivity and economic growth, saying the ministry has decided to do its best to sustain and improve on the current situation.
When we are performing the seed, when we don't perform the seed, we all know the avalanche of criticisms, condemnations that we witnessed in the first quarter of this year, which I mentioned that it was not going to be acceptable, that we needed to raise our game, that we needed to improve on our performance. And I'm happy that you heeded the advice. And the last 3 to 4 months have been quite impressive.
On the challenges of revenue collection by distribution companies, especially from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, ministries, parastatals, departments and agencies, the meeting adopted a measure to ease the bottlenecks among other challenges. On local content, the federal government maintained that industry players must adopt local content policy for job creation and discourage importation of power equipment.
Witness some improvements in the payment of MDS bills, but the improvement is not satisfactory as far as we are concerned. We believe that continuous owing debt to DISCOs is impacting their operations negatively. It's affecting their liquidity, it's affecting their operations, and even in their returns to pay the energy invoices from the power generating companies.
In its continued effort towards providing regular quality electricity to businesses and households in the country, the federal government has secured the backing of the United States to Nigeria's solar power project. The assurance was disclosed by the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, during a meeting with the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adilabu, in Abuja. The solar project will see Sun Africa LLC, an American company, in the forefront of the push to meet Africa's energy needs, providing vital power infrastructure to Nigeria. Mills said his visit to the Power Ministry was to know the status of the Sun Africa Power Project and support the ministry's engagement on the project. The ambassador also invited the minister to an energy summit scheduled to hold from 11 to 12 September 2024 in Washington. According to him, the summit will make the electricity sector a major focus, adding that the summit would comprise working groups engaged in strategic energy dialogue. Speaking earlier, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabu, said the ministry is geared towards adding value to local industries by providing them with adequate power to enable them function better. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu says for Africa to optimize our abundant natural resources and take a quantum leap in human development, the continent must look inwards for solutions, starting with right education for our youth. She gave this admission when she received in audience the Burundian ambassador to Nigeria, Eduardo Undumimana, at the State House, Abuja. Addressing the ambassador, the First Lady says the solution to Africa's challenges lies with African, noting that it is time for African countries to strengthen the bond of brotherhood among themselves for development on the continent. She says the days of taking the natural resources that the continent is endowed with for granted are over, and called on leaders to work towards empowering the enlisting youth in developmental effort. Senator Oluremi Tinubu reiterated President Bola Tinubu's commitment to bring in not only Nigeria to its pride of place, but Africa as a whole. The Burundian ambassador, who spoke through an interpreter, said the visit was to register his country's appreciation for the First Lady's interest and support for education. He acknowledged that Burundi has had its fair share of crises, but noted that the country was now back on the path of peace and progress. The ambassador, who has spent 7 months in the country, commended the hospitality and warmth he has enjoyed in the country. And to the story teased earlier, resident doctors of the Federal Medical Center, Makadi, have staged a peaceful protest to demand the release of Dr. Ganiyat, abducted by kidnappers in the last 7 months in Kaduna State. The doctors who carried placards with various inscriptions walking around the hospital premises say the continuous detention of Dr. Ganiyat in the den of abductors is worrisome to the family and the colleagues, hence the call on government and security agencies to expedite action to ensure she gains freedom and return to her family. President Association of the Resident Doctor, Dr. Fane Ndogo, who led the peaceful protest, gave 1 week ultimatum for government to ensure the release of Dr. Ganiyat, or they may be forced to down tools in solidarity, stating the government has become insensitive to the plight of citizens being abducted by kidnappers on the highways. He also condemned the kidnapping of over 20 medical and dental students from University of Jos and Maiduguri along Otukpo Enugu Road and called for their release as well.
I've done everything possible to ensure that she has been released and nothing has happened yet. We have tried to engage the agencies and nothing is forthcoming. So we felt it was necessary that we will cry to the public and we will cry to the government openly so that they will see our plan. This is becoming something of a mess for citizens' lives to be no longer secure. You know, it's unfortunate and we felt that it is important for us to bring this to the public domain and to put some pressure on the government to ensure that she's released. If she's not released within the next 1 week, by 26th of August, we are going to be back on the total strike.
The kidnappers there for 7 months and it pains me. I feel terrible. I can only imagine what she's going through. Dr. Ganiyat is a mother, she's a wife, she's a doctor. She has been through this and nothing has been done about it.
And still on that story, the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital chapter of Association of Resident Doctors staged a peaceful protest to demand the unconditional release of the colleague Dr. Ganiyat Popola, who was adopted on December 27, 2023 at her residence in Kaduna. Galaxy TV's Nenwarang Yumazaka, who was there, gives more details.
Dr. Ganiyat Popola, a registrar in the Department of Ophthalmology at the National Eye Center, Kaduna, was abducted on December 27, 2023, along with her husband and nephew. While her husband was released in March, Dr. Ganiyat and her nephew remained in captivity. In solidarity to her release, resident doctors in Lasuth turned out in their numbers, carrying placards with various inscriptions to press home their demands for her release. Addressing journalists at the end of the peaceful protest, which took place within the premises of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, President Lasuth ARD Dr. Aisudo Charles said injury to one is injury to all, as he lamented that the safety of doctors in Nigeria is constantly under threat.
This entire scenario embodies the perpetual state of insecurity the country is in. and the impunity with which lawlessness and disregard for human life thrives. Should we continue to live our lives in fear and trepidation? How can we effectively discharge our duties with the constant fear of an uncertain future lurking in our minds? We have appealed, we have asked, we have requested, and we have begged. Now we demand the immediate release of Dr. Ganiat Popola and her nephew.
Other doctors expressed pain and worry over the well-being of Dr. Ganiat, while also appealing to the government to take action.
We are just 55,000 doctors for about 200 million people. So if something like this is happening, we don't know how it's going to be in future. Really implore all stakeholders to help find Dr. Popola.
What we want is for them to release Dr. Ganiat Popola, who happens to be our colleague. We doctors, we have discussed and we feel if our member is not released, we are going to continue this demonstration.
Just like Dr. Ganiat and many other Nigerians who have been victims of the prevailing insecurity in Nigeria, all Nigerians and also the health workers here are asking for a safe working environment and also the freedom of their colleagues. Questions in the heart of every Nigerian right now is, how serious is the federal government taking this prevailing issue? And is the security agencies doing enough to make sure every Nigerian is safe and secured here in Nigeria? Lane Warren Gilmazaka, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
We want Ghana. What do we want? We want Ghana. What do we want? We want Ghana.
And still on health-related matters, medical practitioners have advised Nigerians on ways to protect themselves from monkeypox virus, now mpox virus, which is fast spreading in Africa and other parts of the world. Our reporter tells us more in this report.
Following World Health Organization's declaration of mpox virus as public health emergency of international concern, it is deemed important for Nigerians to undertake measures to protect themselves since the NCDC's revelation of the country already recording 39 confirmed cases of the virus. To prevent the disease, one first needs to be aware of how it spreads and symptoms to look out for.
It's a viral infection, which makes that it's caused by a virus. In other words, antibiotics do not treat it. Basically, we have three routes of transmission. You can have transmission from animals to humans, which is the common one, the zoonotic infection. We also have the human-to-human transmission. That means that somebody has monkeypox and you come in contact with that person. And then we could also have infection from the environment, okay? So environment, for example, someone who's had monkeypox, the beddings of that person, okay? The towels that the person has used. We call that fomite transmission.
It's majorly spread by contact. Contact can be handshake, can be wearing the same clothing, can even be very close, like sneezing, walking closely, and also integral intercourse can lead to. So it's a contact disease. Sometimes it can even be the general flu complaints or symptoms that people complain. Oh, I feel body pain, I feel sore throat, I feel feverish. Some of those flu symptoms are the things you notice first. And then if there are rashes, it becomes you should be able to look more.
Since it is said that the new strain of the monkeypox virus spreads fast, Nigerians are advised on simple safety measures to keep themselves safe.
So those same general rules that we applied during COVID applies in monkeypox, hand wash, some form of distancing. Having imbibed some of those is just for the people to reactivate them, and they are good to be able to control the spread of the mpox.
We've said it's a zoonotic infection. It spreads from animals to humans. In other words, keep a safe distance from such animals. A very key thing is hand hygiene. We can never overemphasize the importance of hand hygiene. So when I say hand hygiene, what am I talking about? Washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water. So it's not just water, you need soap as well to wash your hands thoroughly. If you have any symptom at all, you're having a fever, you don't feel so well, okay, I would advocate that you visit a proper health facility. Okay, so don't do self-diagnosis.
Iribami Salako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
And to other stories, the National Association of Polytechnic Students, NAPS, has supported the decision taken by the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN, and Ministry of Education to halt the Pharmaceutical Technology Program in Polytechnics. The Polytechnic students also fled court inference in the ongoing issue of the pharmaceutical technology in Polytechnics and alleged it's a ploy by individuals with personal interest. Comrade Ridwan Opeyemi Muniruddin, NAPS National President, says after due consultation with various stakeholders, including heads of affected institutions, NBTE, the Ministry of Education and the PCN, the association came to this resolution.
The leadership of NAPS will never compromise any standard or jeopardize the future of our teeming students. We will rather fight what can be an obstacle to them now and as concern their future. It is so worrisome and demoralizing saying that the issue which has been resolved by the concerned bodies and those affected students have been given another platform to upgrade their certificate through PCN in order to meet up with the best global practice and being taken to court again.
NAPS said it would resist any attempt to continue the pharmaceutical technology in polytechnics as ruled by NBTE and called for respect for PCN's mandate as regulatory body for pharmacists in Nigeria.
Please note, we want to state emphatically and categorically that whoever is dragging this case court are doing so for their personal interest, and they are the main enemy of polytechnic students, and as such, we will not fold our hands and watch some unscrupulous element to give fake hope to our students and brainwash them for selfish reasons.
United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, has described the humanitarian situation of internally displaced persons in Benue State as critical that requires collective effort from all partners in order to have a lasting solution. Leader of the UNHCR delegation and the UNHCR Assistant High Commissioner for Operations, Raouf Mazal, stated this at the Government House Makadi shortly after his visiting to IDP camps alongside Governor Hyacinth Thalia, where he commended him for efforts in responding to humanitarian crisis in the state. While leader of the UNHCR promises to continually support the state government's effort alongside other partners, the German ambassador to Nigeria thanked the state government's leadership towards durable solution to the plight of IDPs and called for more collaboration. Meanwhile, Governor Hyacinth Thalia appreciated the UNHCR for mobilizing resources for refugees and the internally displaced persons, saying their plight is a matter of urgent concern to his administration. The UNHCR leader and German ambassador wore chief traditional wear, a sign of respect and recognition.
The issue of internal displacement is a very serious one, generally speaking in Nigeria, but particularly in Benue State. The impact of internal displacement in the region, which happens to be the basket of the country, is very serious. But we are also here by your side. We've been working with the other members of the UN community to make sure that we don't just look at IDPs from a humanitarian point of view, but also from the solutions.
We want to express my profound appreciation for the unwavering support the UNHCR fostering our state efforts to protect and provide for these displaced persons. In the face of these challenges, our administration remains resolutely committed to principles of the Global Compact on Refugees.
Durable solutions is a very complex issue, and it needs many actors to work together, but most importantly is the leadership that you have taken, that also the federal government has taken. That leadership is very much needed, and then the international community, be it the donors, be it the UN family, we can come in and help and complement what you are doing.
The use of information and communication technology has been identified as a fulcrum for youth development and socio-economic transformation. These and many more were the submissions of the Chairman, House of Reps Committee on Digital and Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Adedeji Olajide, at the official handover of an ICT hub to the Oyo State government. The lawmaker who said that he recognized the need to bridge the digital divide and provide youth with requisite skills and resources necessary to thrive in today's technology-driven world. On final analysis, Honorable Adedeji explained that youth will now have access to cutting-edge technology, training programs and mentorship opportunities that will equip them with the skills they need to compete in the global digital economy. Some of the programs offered by the hub includes to learn coding, web development, digital marketing, and others in-demand skills that will make them employable and empower them to create their own job, as well as provide a platform for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and innovators to connect, collaborate, and access new market opportunities. Earlier, the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Saliu Adelabu, who was represented by Adenira Abraham, urged youth to harness the power of technology to build a brighter future for themselves and their communities. He called on the private sector, civil society organizations and individuals to support and partner with the government to expand the frontiers of information and communication technology.
The only thing that the whole world have going now is digital age, which is now. And we need to close the divide, because if you look at the gap between the people who have the knowledge and the ones that don't, it's just too wide. We need to begin to close that gap, and I believe this center is going to allow that, so that way our kids, our young ones, even before they proceed into university, they have some of the basic knowledge they need to thrive in the digital age.
These state-of-the-art facilities are more than just computers and software. They represent a gateway to endless possibilities, a bridge to the global community, and a tool for unlocking their potentials, their full potentials.
As part of strategic efforts targeted at modernizing agriculture and boosting crop yields towards food security in the state, Oyo State government has launched a comprehensive digital soil testing initiative across 100 communities, followed by commencement of training programs for farmers in line with the new initiative. The pilot initiative, an official flag-off ceremony which was held in Untiri village at Esenyi Farm Settlement, was in collaboration between the state government through the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and a private agribusiness firm. The program, which kicked off this week, is designed to provide farmers with precise soil data, enabling them to optimize their farming practices and increase productivity. According to Barrister Olasukomi Olaleye, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, the initiative involves deploying advanced soil testing technology to analyze the nutrient content and composition of soil samples from participating communities in order to educate farmers on best farming practices for high yields and profitability. The president of AFAN in Oyo State, Adewumi Abbas Adekunle, in his remarks while fielding questions from newsmen, lauded the Makinde-led government for the initiative, describing it as timely and long overdue. He maintained the farmers would be better equipped with requisite farming knowledge that would help them minimize risks and challenges associated with recording high yields at harvest time.
Main things we want to achieve with that. Number one is to increase food production, to increase yield in the farm. Number 2 is to ensure that farming is profitable for our farmers, because when we have increased yield, of course, there will be profitability. And number 3 is to ensure that we sustain the nutrients of our soil. We sustain agricultural land for as long as it is possible. And you can only do that if you have the knowledge of the deficiency of nutrients in the soil.
This initiative marks a critical step towards empowering our farmers with the tools and knowledge they need to enhance productivity as well as ensure sustainability and contribute to the overall food security and sustainability of Oyo State and by extension of our dear nation.
The farmland they are using for their farming will be in support of whatever they want to plant into that farm. So it will now eradicate the innocence of some farmers of just coming up a day and just be planting whatever they like at every particular period.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, the news continues. We are glad to have you back. Air Commodore Henry Jackson, Commandant of the Nigerian Navy School of Armament Technology, Kachia, Kaduna State, has called on cadets of the Nigerian Defense Academy to embrace the spirit of teamwork, creativity, and esprit de corps as they prepare to graduate from the academy. Commodore Jackson made the call at Camp Exercise Camp Highland Fire Night in honor of graduating cadets of the Nigerian Defense Academy 71 Regular Course Army and Direct Short Service Course 28, where he served as special guest of honor. In his address, the Commandant Nigerian Defense Academy, Major General John Ochai, said the campfire night has always been a beacon of unity and strength for the Nigerian military, while urging the graduating cadets to be resilient and committed to contribute to the country's military.
This timeless tradition embodies the spirit of unity, camaraderie, and shared achievements. As we gather around the campfire, let us embrace the warmth of teamwork, creativity, and esprit de corps. Be amazed by the cadets' talents. Enjoy the music, drama, and laughter.
This tradition, steeped in military heritage, symbolizes camaraderie, shared experience, and celebration of achievements. The campfire has been a beacon of unity and strength throughout history, from ancient times to the current periods. It helps to foster a spirit they call teamwork and relaxation after intense training.
As part of measures to prevent crime and criminality within the Warri South and Uvri local government area of Delta State, the Nigerian Police Warri Area Command have promised robust collaboration with practicing journalists in the council area. This was made known by the new area commander Warri Graham Imade during his working visit to the Nigerian Union of Journalists Chapel in Warri.
1 month and about 2 weeks of being in this place, I think to a greater extent, if you look at the crime statistics, it has dropped considerably. And that is why I even encourage some of you here, the house here, to also help us in the area of information sharing. And once you have it on criminals, let us know. A lot has been done, but we're embarking more on proactive policing, because it is always good to prevent than trying to detect. And that is why you can attest to it that in the 10 days of protest. I commenced deployment within the General Area Command 3 days before the day.
He promised to restore sanity in the operations of officers and men under his watch.
I'm an officer that don't tolerate indiscipline. And I want to assure you that in the course of my tenure in this general area, there will be sanity. But we cannot throw you out. Without you, we cannot achieve it. And that is why I'm here. To seek for your collaboration, to seek for your synergy, to seek for your cooperation in every area necessary.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that he is not prepared to go into battle with anyone in the state as he remains focused in developing the state. The governor made the remarks when he played those to members of the House of Representatives Committee on Tet Fund who was in the state as part of the Riverside functions. According to the governor, he remained focused in developing the state and not ready to go into supremacy battle with anyone. Responding, Chairman House Committee on Tet Fund, Marian Onoha, said the oversight function is geared towards effective oversight for tertiary intervention.
Our focus is to better the life of our people, to improve on what we have come to inherit, better it so that whoever is going to come after us will have something to say that we have done. It is not an issue of will, fighting, the number of winning in terms of battle are not the things we are going to display at the end of the day.
The House Committee on Tet Fund and Other Services is a standing committee of the 10th House of Representatives, constituted by the Right Honourable Speaker, to ensure better oversight of the tertiary interventions to institutions. On the 29th of May, the committee in its oversight activity to the agency discovered that well over 500 billion was still in CBN unassessed, though allocated to institutions.
The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has expressed satisfaction with preparations made so far by the Bauchi State Independent Electoral Commission, BASEC, for the Saturday local government election. The state chairman of the council, Hawalisa, reacting to a statement allegedly issued by chairmanship aspirant of a political party, discrediting BASEC's effort to conduct a free, fair and credible election. After scrutinizing the allegations, IPAC found that BASEC has put in place necessary arrangement to ensure a credible election. He urged the electorate to come out in masses and exercise their right to vote for the party of their choice. According to him, the public should disregard the allegations aimed at jeopardizing the electoral process, and IPAC's officials are vigilant and will resist any attempt to compromise the election. Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to Foreign News. Pakistan has confirmed at least one case of the monkeypox virus, a day after Sweden confirmed an infection with a more easily spread and deadlier variant linked to a recent outbreak in Africa. The World Health Organization declared a public health emergency of international concern over the spread of Clade 1 in Africa after a surge in the DRC spread to Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda and Uganda. Pakistan's health ministry has directed officials at border crossing and airports to ensure strict surveillance and collect samples for medical tests if they see symptoms of the disease in any passenger returning from abroad. The disease caused by the virus leads to flu-like symptoms, pulse-filled lesions and muscular pain. It is usually mild but can kill with children, pregnant women and people with weakened immune systems such as those with HIV. all at higher risk of complications. Indian doctors have called for a nationwide shutdown of hospital services as public fury over the rape and murder of a trainee medic in the eastern city of Kolkata. The Indian Medical Association, the country's largest grouping of medics with 400,000 members, said a 24-hour shutdown will be implemented on Saturday, affecting most hospital departments except for essential services. The shutdown comes after thousands of people took to the street in several cities to express their outrage at the rape and murder of a 21-year-old trainee doctor whose brutalized body was found at Kolkata state-run R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital. Today, large protests were held in various cities, including Kolkata, the capital of West Bengal state, Mumbai in the west, and Hyderabad in southern India, demanding justice and better security at medical campuses and hospitals. Demonstrators held banners calling for accountability as they gathered near Parliament in New Delhi. Multiple medical unions in both government and private systems have backed the strike protection and facilities. The hospital where the trainee doctor was killed was attacked. The police could not identify who was behind the rampage, but said they have arrested 19 people so far. The humanitarian crisis caused by the civil war in Sudan has exacerbated infections including cholera, which has killed more than 300 people. Margaret Harris said that 11,327 cholera cases and 316 deaths have been reported, and dengue fever and meningitis infections were also on the rise. According to the WHO, the recent outbreak of cholera have also been more deadly, with fatality rate being the highest recorded in more than a decade. Cholera is caused by a bacteria spread in contaminated food and water, and access to clean water and sanitation are important to stop its spread. The fighting in Sudan has forced 1 in 5 people in the country to flee their homes due to the mass displacement. More than 25 million people across the country, or more than half Sudan's population, face acute hunger and outbreak of disease. And still on foreign news, train drivers at London North Eastern Railway has set to strike every weekend in September, October and 2 in November. Union bosses have announced. ASLEF, which represents train drivers, said the walkout at LNER were due to a breakdown in industrial relations and agreement. The fresh strike action is separate from an ongoing pay dispute with all train companies, which edged closer to being resolved in England this week after a new pay offer. LNER, which operates services on the East Coast main line between London and Edinburgh and is run by the government. A Palestinian man has been killed and several people were injured after dozens of Israeli settlers went on a rampage and attacked a village in the occupied West Bank, drawing widespread condemnation. The Palestinian Health Ministry said that 23-year-old Mahmoud Abdul Qadir Sada was shot and another Palestinian suffered critical gunshot wounds to the chest in the attack on the village of Jit, east of Kalkid. Dozens of masked Israeli settlers, some armed, hurled rocks and Molotov cocktails as they stormed the village, setting fire to several cars and destroying properties. Between October 7 and August 12 this year, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs recorded some 1,250 Israeli settlers' attacks against Palestinians, resulting in at least 120 deaths and 1,000 incidents of property damage. The United States has frequently condemned such attacks, but has stopped short of taking concrete actions to sanction accused settlers, many of whom are dual U.S. citizens. Joseph Borrell, the European Union foreign policy chief, urged Israel to stop unacceptable actions by settlers immediately, confirming his intention to introduce proposals for sanctions against violent settlers. And finally, on foreign news, an army chaplain has been stabbed several times during an attack at Renmore Barracks in County Galway. Father Paul Murphy, who is in his 50s, was taken to University Hospital Galway, and his injuries are described as serious but not life-threatening. Irish police officers said the teenage boy was restrained by soldiers and then arrested. They also said that terror motivation was one line of inquiry. The Defense Forces said shots were fired by personnel during the incident as soldiers on duty responded to the immediate threat and appropriate force to ensure the safety of personnel and secure the area. The injured Defense Forces member was provided with immediate first aid at the scene before being transported to the hospital for further treatment. And that's all we have on the foreign news.
Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And that's it for now. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Eribami Salako. Do have a great weekend.